Hi, this is Diggy here from flawlessconfidence.com, and I'm very happy to have this interview with Celes Chua from personalexcellence.co. Hi, Celeste, nice to have you here.
Hi, thanks for having me here, Diggy.
Okay, so we're going to share some thoughts and experiences about confidence and self-esteem and why this is so important in life. So, I personally believe that confidence and high self-esteem are very important qualities to have if you want to be happy, successful, have good relationships, and be able to just achieve anything you want in your life. Now, what do you think about confidence and self-esteem, and what are your views about this?
I absolutely agree with you, Diggy. I think that confidence and self-esteem are extremely important if you want to achieve success and achieve any of the goals in life. I mean, many people often think about success in career, success in finance, relationships, and so on as goals as in themselves, and they are right. But first and foremost, it's important to have a good self-esteem and good confidence before anyone is able to achieve great results in those areas. So I think that confidence and self-esteem are definite foundational pillars for success in any goal in life.
I totally agree with that. And do you think that lack of confidence or low self-esteem is something generic, like something that people are born with, or rather something that they acquire, that they kind of program into themselves during their lifetime?
Well, I guess it's a question of nature versus nurture. So I have commonly heard of people saying that confidence is something that you're born with, and it's either you have it or you don't. And I actually really disagree with that. I think that yes, it might seem that some people have a higher propensity for confidence, and but at the same time, I think that people with a lack of self-confidence, they usually have that because of certain childhood incidences earlier on in their life that make them think that way. So it's not necessarily that they were born with no confidence, but certain things happened to them when they were young, which they may not be fully conscious of, that made them feel lower in self-confidence. And it is definitely something that can be addressed, and it is not something that's genetic or inbuilt. I think that self-confidence is something everybody can have.
Yeah, I agree with that too. My next question was going to be, what do you think is the main reason that causes low confidence or low self-esteem? And I think you've kind of addressed that already. Maybe you'd like to expand on that a little bit. Like what happens, what are the kind of main reasons when you're growing up, the situations you're exposed to that create this low confidence for the rest of your life?
So I've never been inferior about my looks, because I've often received compliments and so on. But I've been inferior about certain parts of my face because of comments that kids made to me when I was in school. So one example would be, say, like my forehead is relatively higher than most other people. So like there were comments here and there when I was younger, where kids would tease my forehead. They would say, "Oh, you have such a big head. Like, oh, why is your forehead so high?" So that actually became embedded in my subconsciousness. And for the past 10 years, I didn't realize it, but I was actually quite conscious about my forehead, and I was actually having a fringe for the past 10 years. So this is the first time I'm actually growing my fringe. But in the past, I always have bangs covering because I was self-conscious of my forehead. And another comment that a guy made to me when I was in junior college, the guy said like my ears, like they look like they're alien ears, and there was actually nothing wrong with my ears. But because of that one comment made to me at the time, it made me subconsciously conscious of my ears, and I didn't realize that until I started thinking about my situation and everything.
So yeah, I agree with that, and I think your forehead is perfectly fine in your ears, by the way. There's nothing wrong with
Oh yeah,
that.
definitely.
But it's like small experiences like that that really create a problem for a lifetime for someone. And I think the problem is that when like young children are subject to this criticism, they don't really talk to people about it and they just accept it and take it to heart. And nobody's ever there to tell you like, hey, don't take it personally. This is just some kid who has a problem with you, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. And this is what creates a problem for most people for their lifetimes. So, in your experience, do you think it's common or it's rare that people who lack confidence and who are low on self-esteem that they try to increase their confidence? And even if they try, do you think it's like common or rare that they succeed in this transformation to be able to make themselves more confident?
You know what? I think it's actually a little bit sad because I think most people who have low self-confidence or low self-esteem actually think that is something they are born with, and they think that is something they cannot change. So I have found that oftentimes they do not reach out and they do not talk about that. They just sort of live with it, and they think that it is something that they're just born with genetically and it's not changeable. So I find that it's sad in that way. So what I try to do is I often write about such topics. And I believe, Diggy, with your website, you're driving awareness about it as well. That
Yeah.
confidence is something that everybody can cultivate, and it's not something genetic at all, and it's definitely not something that they set in stone and that cannot be changed. So on that note, I do also have clients and course participants and readers who approach me or they talk about how they have low confidence and they do want to work on that confidence itself. And I believe that with the right tools and the right methods, anyone can actually succeed and transform. So the people who have the right tools, the right methods, and they apply the right um, steps, they often succeed and transform. Whereas those who are not necessarily applying the right methods, they may not have so much success. So I think it's really about the methods, and it's very important that you use the right tools to work on the issues causing the low self-confidence.
Yeah, I agree with you. I find that actually most people have at some point attempted to try and make a difference to their confidence or to their lives, but they really don't know where to start and they follow some method or they read some book and it's just the wrong information and they get lost somewhere along the way and then they just give up and they kind of accept their situation of not having confidence. And I think this is a problem and this is why, I try and help people and you try and help people and try and give them the right tools. But if you don't find this information, then it's very difficult to actually get somewhere.
I definitely agree with you on that, Diggy.
What do you think are the key steps in building lasting confidence? What do you think are the core pillars of confidence where you need to start?
hmm I think that whenever there's someone who asks me about how the person can build the confidence, the first question I always ask the person is, on the scale of 1 to 10, how do you assess your self-confidence? Where 1 is the lowest and 10 is the highest. And so the person will usually give a numerical figure as a gauge of where he or she stands. And this figure can be 6 or 7, it could be 3 or 4, it could be 8. So whatever the figure is, it helps the person to get awareness on what he or she feels is his or her confidence level. So based on that, my next question would be, so why didn't you give yourself a full 10 upon 10? Why is it this number? Like, what are 2 to 3 big reasons why you did not rate yourself a 10 upon 10 in terms of your self-confidence? So these reasons could be, say, oh, my career is not where I want it to be. It could be, say, oh, because I am having some problems with my relationship, or it could be I'm not earning as much money as I would like, or I feel inferior about certain parts of my body or my looks. So whatever the reasons are, this would be the key blocks to the confidence itself, like preventing the person from having confidence. And then what we'll do next is then we will start to really break down each of these reasons, why they are preventing the person from having confidence. So I guess the conventional approach, which most self-help gurus would recommend, is then to address these areas as problem areas. Like, let's say if you're not earning enough income, okay, then go and earn more income so you become more confident. And I guess there is merit behind that approach because if low income is making the person feel low in confidence, then earning a higher income will surely help the person to feel more confident. But I feel this is not a lasting approach because in this situation, in the income example, the person has tied his or her confidence to income itself, when actually income confidence itself should exist by itself. It's independent of any other factors in a person's life. So, for
Yeah,
example, a person can earn like zero income and it shouldn't stop the person from feeling a 10 upon 10 in confidence. A
I
person,
agree with you. I just want to stop you there because that's something very
sure,
important. That the confidence should not be tied to some external thing like making money or having friends or whatever. Confidence comes from within you. And it's the same as with happiness, where people base their happiness on some external thing and base their confidence on some external thing. And if you want to build lasting confidence, it has to come from within you and not be based on money or friends or something. Because if that external thing disappears, then your confidence disappears again. So sorry to interrupt you there, but I just thought that was really important to share.
No, I totally love the example that you shared, and I totally agree with you that confidence is really it should exist by itself. And if you tie it to an external thing, sure, when you have the external thing, your confidence increases. But what if it's gone? Your confidence will go down, and then what happens next? It just becomes like a rat race, and you're just sort of like it's like a chicken and egg thing, and you keep chasing after that thing. When really, what you should do is to learn to detach your confidence from all those external factors. And this would be the third step that I'll do with my readers and my clients. Detach your confidence from those external objects and really understand that confidence is really from within, and then start to build it from within and nurture it from within. So those would be the three key steps that I would work with the people to build their confidence.
I agree with you totally. So another thing that people have a misconception about is that many people have the belief that in order to get more confident, you really need to spend a lot of money on courses or seminars or even private coaching. And in your experience, do you think it's true if you want to build confidence and want to become a confident person that you need to spend a lot of money to do this?
No, and I think Diggy, you agree with me on this. I totally do not think so. And I think this applies to every single topic, be it whether you want to be successful or whether you want to earn more money or whether you want to build a successful blog or whether you want to be more confident. I don't think that spending a lot of money on all these materials is a prerequisite to achieving the goal that you want. And I think as long as you have the right mindset, you have the right tools, and you consistently take action, you have the right approach, anything you can achieve anything that you want. And I think there's so much great information out there. Diggy, your site is free, all the information is free. I mean, there's some paid products, but overall there's this wealth of information that's free on your site. And it's the same for my site as well, so many articles with all this information. And I think it's really just about reading them and applying them. I definitely do not think that spending a huge amount of money is a prerequisite to achieving any goal, including becoming more confident.
I agree with you totally. It's about that having that desire to want to improve because the internet really, like you say, there's a wealth of information. Pretty much everything that's in paid products can be found online to the large extent, and it does require you need to look for it. But if your finances are tight and you cannot afford to spend money on this, or maybe you don't want to, there's enough information on the internet to actually go out and find that, but it takes you some time to go and do that. And you can actually find everything. So it's not necessary to spend a fortune or hundreds or thousands of dollars on courses and seminars that actually, for the most part, don't even work because they're full with a lot of hype. And also, there are these long courses that you kind of lose interest in after 5 days, and you spend all this money, and then you forget about it, and then it kind of goes nowhere. So
I
yeah,
definitely agree with you on that. I mean, I even think that actually just because it has a price attached to it doesn't necessarily mean that it's superior in the value. And just because it has a high price attached of it doesn't necessarily mean that it has a high value. I actually think that certain free stuff out there are better than whatever paid stuff that is and I think the high price, like you said, is a lot of hype. And I think it's a lot about marketing and about how they pitch what they do. And yeah, so I definitely don't think price is a factor in this.
I agree with you. So, what do you think? Do you have any experiences with methods like meditation or self-hypnosis or EFT to try and become more confident and do these methods work in any way?